Introducing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, the only national USDA certified organic hard seltzer. We're not playing around. New Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes.
And go.
Hi, Zach.
Hi.
What are you mad about, Zach?
Hey, what's going on, man?
People keep stealing shit.
Why do they steal shit? Do you
Zach,
think?
Yeah.
do you have to swear?
Yes!
My gosh.
This
Welcome
is
to the After Party
ridiculous.
podcast. It is the 29th day of January 2021. Apparently, there's been a lot of thievery.
I said Hawk doesn't have headphones.
I don't have headphones because they keep stealing.
Because people, not only do they steal the headphones, and then they come back and they steal the quarter-inch to 3.5 millimeter converter.
Not one of those converters.
What? The nerve!
Yeah, they're hot on the black market. I honestly though, I don't know why they would take these. Like they must just like gather them somewhere so they never not have them. You know what I mean? But meanwhile,
Well, no, there's two thieves. That's what's going on here. There's two people stealing headphones. Somebody stole headphones out of one of these other studios, right? And took the adapter with it. And then that person said, "Oh crap, my headphones are gone. I'm going to come into Studio X and take their headphones."
Right.
And then they were taken again. So then those ones disappeared, or the adapter disappeared. So they came back for more.
we have cameras everywhere.
Except for here, which they probably freaking know.
No, there's a
a
camera
black
right
thing coming
outside.
out of there.
I got
Well,
you.
I wanna-
I
He
got
got
you,
you.
baby.
He
When
got
was the
you,
first day
baby.
you freaked out, Zach? Yesterday?
Yes, that was
Right.
when we lost our MDR 75 with sixes.
Is that a car?
What is
these.
our headphones? Oh, okay.
So we had a nice pair of headphones that were not touched for months. That were nice.
Good
and
thing you
somebody
put that
comes-
theft deterrent yellow tape on your pair.
Well, yeah, nobody's gonna touch these. So I gotta wrap this around. I gotta get new tape. They look cool though. I
Big
like
day
them.
Get your act together.
No, New Hawk is here. Don't worry. I'm here.
I'm new Halvey ain't.
But New Halvey's old Halvey. He's super pissed. Tell me about our sponsor.
Yeah, Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer. It's freaking sweet.
Oh,
Thank
hang
you.
on.
I might
freaking
need a
sweet.
couple here.
Yeah, man, I might do some day drinking today. That sounds like fun.
Go on.
Right.
Yeah, the bars are opening again,
time?
right? Like now?
I mean, I'd drink at 10 a.m. with you.
Where could we go?
Well, the weekend's finally here.
That's what I mean.
Let's go to the St. Croix River. Here we come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right on.
It's time
But,
for...
oh, fuck, dude. Yesterday I spent all day in Lake Boganza.
Did you really?
You spent all day
Where
with
is that? Is
Chuck
that in Wisconsin,
Pagano?
by the way? Where is that actually?
It's in Wisconsin.
Lake?
Yeah.
Wisconsin
Yeah,
Lake?
it's been all day in Lake Baganza.
Lake Boganza.
Yeah,
Baganza.
yeah. Pretty sure that's what he says.
Never heard of it.
I should know.
Let me look it up.
Spending all day with
Lake.
Chuck Pagano.
What
happened to that guy?
Neighbors field.
Where's Chuck Pagano?
Isn't
Did he
he...
die?
No.
Did he
Didn't
just
he have
die?
some issues?
I think he had didn't he have a cancer battle?
Yeah.
I think he
something like
battled
that.
Isn't he
cancer, but I
the
think he's
offensive
okay still.
coordinator of
So-
one of the teams that's...
No,
No.
that's
Don't
your
know.
dad.
But I
That's
think he's
my dad.
I think
What
he's
about
still
my dad?
coaching.
Your dad's the offensive coordinator.
not a head
For
coach.
what team?
My underwear.
He's the offensive coordinator for your underwear.
That's right. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
You make sure nothing gets in or out
That's weird.
without his hands wrapped around it.
What?
Hey,
Bears.
if you're
Yeah,
following
Bears,
along
right.
on the live stream, or if you listen to this later, send a tweet to @initialsgame or @powertripkfan if you think you would have won initials today.
I
Because
should've.
I think a lot of people sitting in their cars feel like they would have had 3, 4, 5, 6 today.
We let a lot go
You
to
guys
5
let
or
a
6.
lot of them go almost the whole way.
Space Force was ridiculous.
Well,
I
and
can
I
believe
think Zach was asking me like what it was about to this game that I was able to put together that everyone wasn't. Whatever today, I do think that for whatever it's worth, if they were at a level playing field, okay, so it's not like a '70s musician Hawk has it or a random trivia thing that I don't know anything about. If we're on a level playing field, I do think that there is something to be said that whatever my brain is doing can figure it out a split second faster when it's completely given out after clue 6. Because I feel like, and maybe this isn't true, but I feel like after the clue 6 ones, I get 50% of them. And today there was 2 or 3 at
'cause
least that were 5 or 6 clues in.
Yeah, normally
And we missed
after clue
Swedish fish.
6, Sauce is the fastest to ringing in and giving himself that 5 seconds
Sure,
to figure
sure.
it out.
Yep.
And you didn't do that a couple times
No.
today because clearly you weren't close enough to even ring in and
All
like,
I-
work it out.
We've talked about this 1,000 times because we played this game 1,000 times. I had one stuck in my head, and all I was waiting
San Francisco?
all I was waiting for was you to say has a connection to the room. and I was going to ring in. That's
Correct.
that's all I was waiting for. Was San Francisco. It's the only thing I could think of.
We
Lisa.
missed Swedish Fish.
Yep.
Stick figure went 6.
Way too
yeah,
long.
5.
Space Force went way
Space
too
Force.
long.
Yeah, but Space Force bombed.
Yeah, it was awful. But,
Yeah, but
there's an actual Space Force.
Yeah.
Pentagon one was.
And I love the debuted bit.
Oh,
the
Pentagon. I thought you said
idea
pentagram.
that-
I wasn't listening.
Steve Carell got the copyright
Right.
for Space Force before
Yeah.
the government did.
Yeah.
Is just amazing
Unreal.
to me.
So
I know.
has anyone seen it?
no.
Yeah, I watched one episode just like he did. I literally watched one
your
episode. And that was
thoughts?
it. It was terrible.
It's not. I didn't
wow.
even come
It must be a
close to
bomb if
laughing.
you hate it.
And it's filled with people I love. I
Yeah.
love Ben Schwartz.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Steve Carell.
Yeah.
Right. Malkovich is great. Like the cast is awesome, but it's supposed to be a comedy.
Yeah, it just didn't
and
work.
the whole first episode, I'm going, what is funny about? Like, it had no bit to it. There's no life to it. It was empty.
What are you holy ballsing about?
There's 15,000 lakes in Wisconsin.
Spending all day.
Sorry, Rand McNally.
Yeah.
Wikipedia, random
Everybody
article over
knows
there.
that.
A lot of people are saying it's not funny. Are they talking about this podcast or Space Force?
Both. Probably both.
Stuart as a
Too far
14.
go
What
from
is
the
that thing?
cities. I missed it. Space Force gets better, really.
That's what
It
people
got
say, but
better.
honestly, it was such a bad start. I just, if somebody else says it's great, I'm gonna just
You should-
enjoy
So-
the fact that they
Wow.
like it, and I'm not watching
There's
it.
more lakes in Wisconsin than there are in Minnesota. Did we know that?
There aren't more lakes. There's 17,000 lakes here.
I'm looking at 11,000 right here, according to NPR News.
Son of a bitch.
No,
Zach,
A
don't
lake
fight
is-
more people.
2.5.
Honestly, most Scotty lakes though are just drunk guys pissing in a lake.
Yeah, like Marlar and
10
Carlar.
acres or greater. So, I
So
mean,
that
it could be a
doesn't really
different
count.
measuring system.
Like piss puddles.
List of lakes.
Do you know what the
Lake.
What's the largest lake in Minnesota?
Might still be. My God.
Minus Lake Superior.
Well, does Superior count or not? Although
Yeah,
it
but
doesn't
lake
Mille Lacs?
basins.
No, Mille Lacs is 2.
But there's still more in
I
Wisconsin.
think
It's bigger than Mille Lacs.
I think it's Leech
Leech what?
Lake. Isn't Leech Lake the largest?
Red Lake.
No, Lake of the Woods, Red Lake. I mean,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
not talking
yeah, yeah.
Superior, obviously, but
No,
Lake of the Woods, I think, is bigger than Leech Lake.
Lake Baguanza,
Lake Baguanza.
Henry Lake.
Wow, Wayne Gretzky's listening.
Thanks, man. I'm glad you like
Now,
my
Lake
hat.
of the Woods
Where's
isn't
that cat?
technically in Minnesota. Red Lake's bigger. Rainy Lake is bigger. Mille Lacs is bigger than Leech.
Hang on, Wikipedia guy has something to say.
Oh God. Well, here's the deal.
I'm reading the
Stephen
comments.
Avery. How many lakes are there in Wisconsin?
Well, the Wisconsin DNR defines their lakes. That number is 15,074. However, those are defined as bodies of water that are 2.2 acres or more.
And Minnesota does 10 acres or more.
Minnesota does 10 acres. So Minnesota has 11,842 lakes of 10 acres or more. If Wisconsin were to measure like Minnesota, its lake count would be closer to 5,300.
And
That's
Minnesota's
almost no lakes.
but Minnesota's, if they did Wisconsin's count, is 15,200 or almost 300. So it's not much more.
Jordan on the machine here makes a great point. The biggest lake is 80 miles from Santa Fe.
That's where I was parked, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Do you guys know that lake
Yeah.
that I'm parked by?
What did somebody send us earlier today?
Crotch shots.
Oh no.
I'll share with the class.
No, it was something. Hold on.
Spicy pineapple does sound good. I'm with you.
What?
Thank you, Nick. I'm reading the comments. People are wondering why I'm staring at the computer. I'm not just staring at the computer.
Just a creepy stare.
Oh, so
Hi, guys.
yesterday, Corey and I are leaving after our meeting, and Zach Halverson is.
I
Yeah.
almost said jerking off,
Okay. Well,
and then I just said it.
we are leaving our meeting, and this Zach Halverson is just
Eating
yelling about yeah, basically.
Right.
He's just loud about something, about how
Headphones.
his nephew's in prison for a murder, didn't commit, all that stuff. And I go, Zach, no one likes you. And Zach Dillon at KDWB goes, what? I didn't know he was sitting there. I felt like such an asshole.
He just sits with his door open.
Yeah. He's like,
Nobody
what?
likes you, Zach.
What?
Great
It wasn't
story,
that
dude.
great.
That's good stuff, man. That's
That's about all we got today.
That's great.
Um,
I'm tired.
what was I going to say?
Okay. So I think this changed about 3 weeks ago, but hasn't it felt like the last 3 weeks of the show? I can't believe it's Friday.
Oh, 100%.
I don't know what it is about 2021, but maybe it's just because like the end of the light or the end of the tunnel with the pandemic or whatever is happening. But dude, every week now I'm like, is it already? It's Thursday already.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it's Tuesday and we're playing initials.
Yeah.
Yeah, half the time
It's like light speed.
Tommy will walk in and I'll
4
go,
weeks.
oh my God, it is Thursday.
You look at your watch.
Yep, my
you look
watch,
at,
it's not
your
there.
empty wrist. You
Yeah.
say, "Oh my God, it's Thursday."
Yeah, I don't know, man. Something's speeding up though.
What was that?
You missed it.
What did you do?
Never
I'm just
mind.
showing you how Sauce checks his watch.
What time is it? Yeah.
So point is, winter's almost over.
Yeah.
We're gonna get these
It's
through these
February
next 2 months.
1st on what,
Yeah,
Monday?
you said that the other day. And I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
2 months,
I'm down
and
with
we're
that.
gonna be done with snow.
Then golf.
Vaccine's gonna be rolled out fully here in the next
Well,
4
and
or
this
5.
is the first so it was about this time last year that we started here being concerned about coronavirus.
Oh, I had
you were
no
paying
idea
attention
what
to it,
was
whatever.
going on.
Yeah, until you got your new phone. That's
Yeah,
right.
correct, yeah.
And so this is the first winter in Minnesota that we've gone through COVID. Holy smokes! Like I really am feeling it. Like the inability to go to gather at church or the grocery store regularly or basketball games or whatever it is. What's wrong with you?
Quit taking pictures.
Oh, jeez. I know that I don't feel that as much as many other people do.
Oh, yeah.
Like seasonal
Right.
affective disorder.
Yeah.
Like people deal with that stuff all the time normally, let alone now. So I can't wait for summer to be back to like understand that my neighbors exist again.
No, screw them. Hey,
Yeah,
well,
no, I get you.
Hawk,
Yeah.
I have a very loaded question for you. When you are
Naked.
available to do so,
Yep,
will you get the vaccine?
100%.
Okay. What if
Yeah.
Governor Walz says
Yep.
to go to the state fair, you have to prove you've been vaccinated?
Oh, wow.
Oh boy. Because that's a hell of an excuse not to have to go.
What if he
Maybe I
will not,
get
what if he will
vaccinated.
not let you in if you've had it? Would
Lose
you
your
wait until like
documentation.
September 10th to
Yeah.
get vaccinated?
I'd give him a false name.
Right. You don't want to get microchipped.
Yeah, I'm Mike. Would you blow me?
Oh man.
What is wrong with you today?
What?
Mike?
Yeah. Hey, good to see you again. Saw him in
Zach,
Worthington. Remember? Yep.
This is,
Yeah,
you
no,
are
yeah.
right here.
Dude.
Right here. Standing
No,
on the edge.
I am excited to go to the state fair this year. I just want to go anywhere. at this
Same.
point.
Right.
Yeah, let's do this.
And I was just thinking that too. Can you imagine the Super Bowl parties next year, the birthday parties, the state fair?
Yeah.
Again, some of that will be restricted, but people are going to go nuts with just having a good time
Hell yeah.
because we just haven't been able to.
Think of the travel, man.
Oh,
Buy
man,
travel
for
stocks.
sure.
Buy
And
it,
a lot of
'cause
people have
are gonna
vouchers
go-
too,
Yeah.
like on top of all that.
Yeah. Because like last year with sorry, Zach.
No, go ahead.
No, you can.
No,
you
go
can,
ahead.
you
No,
can speak.
No,
to
no,
it.
I was going to change.
Do you have an
He's just
update?
going to bring up another
Do you have an
Wikipedia
update on your
random
nephew?
article.
Yeah, how many lakes are there?
Yeah. Do you have an update on your nephew?
I don't have any updates. Just finish your point.
Are you worried about your son in prison?
No, I'm not worried. My son is. It's not my son.
Even the Averys think
One
you're
theory.
smart.
One theory.
What? Anyhow,
Well, one of you talk.
I forgot to.
I forgot what I was going to say.
You're
it
talking
doesn't
about
matter.
last
Go
year.
ahead,
guys.
Oh, you said
Travel
buy
stock.
travel stocks.
Anyway,
Oh,
you
don't do
said
that.
we were supposed to remind you to talk about something in the after party, but I forgot what it was.
Yeah, then I think I told you guys. What were we talking about? Remember? Oh, yeah, the Vaseline story.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
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 So this is maybe the worst thing I've ever done. I've done some rotten shit.
Are you making sure your parents aren't on?
Yeah, no, not my parents.
Kim.
Oh, Kim!
Let's make sure Abby's not watching.
Somebody text Kim and tell
No,
her
do
that
not.
hockey has
No,
an
don't.
announcement.
So I was dating this lady, and not really dating. I went out on a couple of dates with her, and she was she had never been with a young man before, and we went out really night and got wasted, and I mean, like, woke up naked on the bathroom floor, wasted, right?
The best.
But in my bedroom, there was an opened jar of Vaseline, which, by the way, I didn't own a jar of Vaseline. Open jar of Vaseline with 2 fingerprints dug through it like this.
Oh, my God.
Like somebody had just been like,
Yep.
Did you not tell this story this morning?
I told a little bit of, yeah, but
Stop
not
it.
so graphic.
Stop it.
Okay,
though,
okay.
yeah.
The thing is, as I said, she'd never been with a young man before. If, again, I did not own a jar of Vaseline.
Sure.
Before that night. So I don't know where the Vaseline came from. I don't know if we made love or if I just diddled myself or both.
God, you love St. Diddled.
And I never spoke to her again. From that moment to today, I don't know whatever happened to her. No clue.
So when you woke up,
Yeah.
you were the only one there.
Yeah, I was on the bathroom floor when I woke up. I went into my bedroom, and there was an open jar of Vaseline with 2 giant finger trails to it.
Is it possible that you just banged the jar of Vaseline and she left?
100% possible. And again, but I don't know where the Vaseline came from.
Right.
That's the clue that I don't have.
So a virgin may have just assumed that was part of the process?
Yeah.
So she may have brought her own
And
ammunition
only
to
a
the
virgin
party?
would need Vaseline with me.
Oh, poor Hogs.
I'm on.
Oh, Abs is on the stream. Hi, Abs.
Yeah, thanks. So yeah, that's my Vaseline story.
Yikes.
But no.
What a mystery.
Yeah, it's a hell of a mystery. I got a lot of good stories about that time in my life, man. I had just
What
had,
about the good morning?
Yeah, that's the same thing. Same house, same apartment. Yeah, the Evie had ripped my heart out and kicked it across the room,
When
which
you got
is,
beat
again,
up by a dad?
best thing that ever happened to me.
Yep.
Not to be getting beaten up by dad. That was the low point, one of them. But then I just went on a spree, like, just,
Yeah. Revenge.
yeah.
Yep.
And man, I got the crabs. It was awesome. That part wasn't so awesome.
Do you know who from?
No clue. I know who I gave it to.
Hey, we've joked about
Not Zach. He wasn't even born yet, which pisses me off.
Your STD billboard.
Yes, sir.
I remember when I had my heart ripped out when you had to live through that
Yeah.
when I was an intern here.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, I want this show to be big enough and I want to be a big enough part of the show that when she drives home to North Branch, that, like, billboard alley on 35,
Yeah.
that she's going to have to drive past a billboard of me, right?
Yeah, right.
And we eventually had one. The
Yeah.
power trip, the 3 of us were on a billboard. Not very long.
Not for very long,
But we
did.
had one. Not for very long. I thought the other day when last night again, when you sent me that picture, I'm like, what if I never got that dream to come true and I lost this bet in 2020 and the billboard that we picked was like right by Forest Lake and it was just my face with STDs and she was driving home to see her parents go 20 years later and going, is that Corey? Is he promoting STDs? And I'd be like,
That's him.
I would just say to her, I made it. You missed out.
Top of the world,
Huge
Ma.
mistake. I'm on a billboard.
Yeah. Jesus.
Billboard Alley.
Man.
35
That is
E and
nuts.
35 dubs.
And it used to be like the same 4 billboards repeated.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right around the curve where 35 and
crazy.
35 meet. Yeah.
There's a million of them right there.
Man, I really wish that Stroking Aces was
What is wrong with you?
what's the name of the place?
Stroking Aces?
That's a movie you've seen.
Stroker
Yeah.
Aces actually is a movie.
Yeah,
It's
Running
a Burt Reynolds
Aces.
movie. I wish Running Aces was like a slot machine casino.
It's just a card club.
It's
Yep.
a horse racing card club. Yeah, yeah,
They got table games.
yeah.
Their hotel. It's nice.
They have a hotel.
Oh, you've
no
stayed
kidding?
there now?
Yeah.
Really?
And TVs are
Isn't that
probably
like
the
3
biggest.
minutes from your house?
I was going to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, right.
I remember
well,
Corey
understand.
saying that
You
they
do what you
built
gotta do.
those because it was like for people who gambled from far away, they could just spend the night and stay. You live 10 minutes from there.
Yeah, man. I went home to grab a couple things and then went
Went back to the.
to my room.
Interesting.
What?
It was fun.
Did you have a jar of Vaseline?
It's a jar of Vaseline.
He took the V off.
It sounded
the
like
Vaseline.
you said Vaseline.
Okay, all right, all right, yeah.
That's like, well, it's like the bit in Me, Myself, and Irene when
Dude.
it wasn't for me.
Man,
he
that-
just looks down all pissed.
Such an
Brilliant.
underrated
Yeah,
movie.
It's
so
so
great.
good.
That again, I just happened. It's starting to, I believe. What's the movie with Ben Stiller? Something About Mary. It's starting to become like Shawshank Redemption. Every time I turn on the television now,
Yeah.
I can find it on a channel. Man, Matt Dillon in that damn movie. He's
great.
He's great. Ricky Gervais said one time, and I'll never forget it, that the funniest thing is when a person thinks they're smart and is dumb as hell and doesn't have any. That's when it's really funny, and that's Ricky Gervais's character, right?
Sure.
In The Office, the original Office, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the world, but he's dumb as hell.
Right.
And Matt
That's
Dillon,
Carell, yeah, too, as well.
yeah, for sure, yeah.
That Russell Brand, Ricky Gervais podcast you suggested I
Yeah.
listen to? Before they got to the religion and atheism talk, when they were talking about his career, and then they just slowly transitioned into like society. I thought that was super interesting because I've only seen a handful of episodes of the British version of The Office,
Yeah, right.
but enough to understand like who David Brent is and the kind of attitude he has. And he was saying like at the time, he thought David Brent was a psychopath, right?
Yeah.
Like that he was so over the top that all he wanted to do was be famous, and he was just a fame seeker, and he would, he wasn't a bad guy. He just wanted to be famous. And he said, like, now you look at Instagram and social media, he's like, David Brent's pretty tame. He's like, it wouldn't even be, like, he stood out 20 years ago.
Right.
Now he doesn't stand out because he would fit right in with everybody that's an Instagram or Snapchat or TikTok influencer.
So you guys have mentioned that podcast a couple times this last week, and I should probably just go find it. But
It's really good.
How did they end the conversation about religion? Like how that's such a weird.
They found common ground because they how do I explain it? Russell is unbelievably smart.
Right.
He's more willing to say that like he's happy without personifying whatever he titles as God. That like he thinks that nature and animals and like we're all kind of connected, but he's not willing to go one more step and just say like, but I'm going to put a name to the face. And
Sure.
he just likes living thinking that we're all kind of one thing. And of course, Ricky's saying, I love nature too. I don't want to think that it's magic nature. He just thinks that the beauty of nature is incredible. And of course, Ricky's never going to take that next leap and personify it either. But so they found the common ground in like loving the mystery of science and the mystery of the universe and just finding a way to live. Like again, how many times have I told you guys this? I am very comfortable not taking the religion leap because I love the beauty of the universe. I'm blown away by how incredible it is. And I don't need, like personally, I don't need that next step of confirmation that I know everything about the universe. I just think it's amazing that I found a way to exist for a second, which is almost exactly what Ricky says at the end, too, that he understands the math of existing and he thinks it's cool. He gets to do it once, and he's not going to worry about it any way beyond that. And Russell mostly agreed with that. He just is a little more, quote, spiritual than Ricky's ever going to be. So they found common ground, but I think you would think it's interesting because Ricky doesn't shit on religion. He really doesn't. He never has. He basically just says, like, none of us know, so whatever makes you happy, that's what you should pick. And that's where they really found common ground because some of the stuff Russell was saying is insane. But it makes him feel happy, so who cares, right? And they both nailed the point that I've 100% always thought. I'm surrounded by Christians. I'm surrounded by people that are way, way, way more religious than me. And you guys can think whatever you want. Just don't put laws in place that affect my life. That's Ricky's really like kind of like red line. That's my thing. That's why I hate religion in this country. Is it's so fucking political. And it ends up being super discriminating against certain groups. And I'm like, you can sit at home and think that nature is a god, or Jesus is the god, or Allah, whatever you want to do. Just don't put laws in place that make people think or have to think what you think. That's my big thing that drives me nuts in this country. But I think you would love it. It's super. It's those guys are very, very smart, and they had a super, super good 40-minute debate about it.
Well, and one of the worst things that ever happened to, again, this term is used loosely and differently, but religion is having people be in charge of it. Right. I mean, how many bad examples of Christians are there? How many, when you talk about this last year and a half, I've lost more relationships amongst Christians in my life because of the way that we're looking at politics and the way that we're aligning things and having it be absolute as opposed to whatever. Like, there's been so many conversations just this last year that I've had, and it's really changed the way that my life has been too, and it's just been a weird time. But I'm always interested in hearing those conversations, to hear both perspectives, to hear
super smart guys,
especially when you say two people that can handle it and do it respectfully, because that's 1% of our population that can do that
right.
for sure.
You gotta, you will not believe. I still can't believe what I just heard yesterday. Smart Less podcast. I tell you guys about it all the time. I can't believe they did this. They had a like one of the leading atheists. His name's Sam Harris.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
What?
Shocking, right?
He's got a poster on his wall.
Right. They had him on the show. Bateman barely talked because I think he was like, I don't know why we're doing this.
Well, I believe Jason and Justine, his sister, I think they were brought up with very heavy religion.
They had a hard time in growing up.
Okay.
But just listening, just observing the podcast, Jason didn't say much. But Will and Sean Hayes, Will and
Arnett.
Grace. Yeah, what's his name?
Yeah, Will Arnett and
Will Arnett,
Sean Hayes from Will
yeah.
and Grace. Yep.
Yeah, were hardcore. I mean,
oh really? I wouldn't have guessed that.
Unbelievably.
Wait, religious or
Against
atheist?
Christianity.
against.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Again, it makes a little sense that Sean Hayes
Sure.
is against it, but I didn't know Will Arnett was that dead set on it either.
But this podcast, and again, not that they need the money, but I gotta believe a major part of their listenership died yesterday.
Oh, really?
Wouldn't you think? I mean, they weren't.
I mean, you've heard all of the politicians that were complaining about their Twitter following, their social media following dying after the insurrection.
Yeah.
I've lost 5,000 Twitter followers because I've quote unquote gone against Christian beliefs.
Yeah,
now,
right.
But here's the thing, real quick. I want to tell you real quick. You talk about they're against Christianity.
Yeah.
They may not. There's a difference between being against Christians and being against Christianity.
Yeah, right, sure.
I'm against a lot of Christians.
Yeah, right.
Because Christians don't live a Christianity lifestyle most of the time.
Right.
That sucks.
Right.
And that's where people get burned, and that's where they see the hypocrisy in it.
Right.
They see whatever you want to see. So whether you believe the bigger picture, religion, God, all that.
Right.
Again, humans screw stuff up all the time. That's what I get hung up on.
And Ricky and Russell both agreed on that, and that's what I've always said too, right? About organized religion is a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
It just is. It just is. And
it can be great, but is handled so poorly 90% of the time.
Right. But it's almost always used as a political power and not actually a religion. So personal religion is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Right.
Freedom of thought is the most important thing any human being can have, way more than freedom of speech or whatever. I can think whatever I want. Again, I can forget religion for a second. I can go home and think racist thoughts all day long if I want, as long as I don't act on them. Right? I can hate any group that I want as long as I don't act on them. You can think whatever you want. So if you want to go home and believe there's Bigfoot, go for it. You want to believe in ghosts, go for it. Just don't make me do it. Then I have a huge problem.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's just about actions, and they both really shit on organized religion, but I think they should.
Back to the podcast was fascinating and interesting, and from 50,000 feet perspective, I'm shocked they did it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm shocked that those three major movie stars, television stars, did that on their podcast.
I think that there's a point though where, because I felt it in my life, where I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm to a point where it's just like, if you're really going to draw this line,
Yeah, right.
why do I care what you think?
Sure.
Why do I bother with investing in your life? Why am I hurt? And I've honestly, I think been pushed to that because, again, the time and place right now is we started the podcast with this. We can edit with this. It's tough.
Yeah.
There's people that are yelling hoax. There's people that are yelling rigged election. There's people that are yelling this, that, and the other thing that are dividing lines sometimes between crazy and not crazy, sometimes between left and right, sometimes between Christians and atheists, across the board, where it's to a point where I can't align myself with this person sometimes, and I'm okay with that. And I think that people might be getting to that.
Right.
Whether it's famous actors, athletes are speaking out more.
Yeah.
All this race stuff this last year too.
Yeah, right.
You're gonna fight over that line. I can't deal with that.
Right.
I can't. And if you don't want to follow me, I don't want you to follow me.
Yeah,
Why do I want you to follow me?
I get it.
That sort of thing.
Yeah, I get it. It's I'd encourage you all to listen to it. I like that podcast a lot. Those guys make me laugh. Yesterday's was really interesting for a multitude of reasons.
What was Sam talking about? What was his
My
angle?
God, that guy takes no bullshit.
Which is fine, all right.
He's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him.
Yeah.
When I saw the name, I thought it was the actor or the singer or whomever, whatever. I thought it was somebody famous.
Oh.
But he's this famous author, and he kind of momentarily, just in a short way, talked about his journey to becoming an atheist. And every time they brought something up, like Will Arnett would jump in and say something, and he would be like, "No, that's not right. This is what's right." He wasn't afraid to put these giant stars in their place. But again, they
were arguing the same point.
They were arguing the same point, or
the same side.
Yeah,
if you will?
yeah, the same side. But they just aren't as learned about it as he was, obviously.
And haven't had as many debates.
He wasn't going like this. He wasn't going, I hear what you're saying, but this. He'd be like, no, that's not right. This is what's right. It was
good, though.
It's
right?
really good.
Yeah.
It was a good podcast. But to hear the dynamic, because Bateman leads that podcast a lot of times, he said maybe 2 sentences during this entire interview.
Wow.
And I don't think he disagreed, because the questions he did ask made it sound like he agreed with what they were all saying. But I think he was thinking to himself, why in the sweet hell are we doing this? I mean, I hear what you're saying, and I understand why they don't need money. But it's an interesting choice on a podcast
Right.
to say this is what we're going to do today.
Especially when you've told us how many times that's a super fun and like entertaining and
Absolutely.
comedic podcast.
For sure.
So, right.
Right.
So you might be going down a route that you're normally not used
Where
to
did
going.
it stem from? Like was there some reason why they did it now?
Why'd they book him at all?
The concept of the podcast is that one of the three of them, and they alternate,
Gets a guest, right?
it's a surprise guest.
Okay.
And it's, he says,
Imagine being surprised. Who brought this one then?
Sean Hayes.
Okay.
And so, but as soon as he said the name,
Yep.
all three of them were like, oh, awesome, this is going to be great. And I was like,
Who?
what?
Yeah.
Right.
And but they'd all read his books. They it's really interesting, man. It was an interesting thing, and I know good on them for doing what they did. It's their show, and I don't mind the podcast going down different directions. Obviously,
Sure.
either. I think that's cool. I want to know more about them as people. I just thought it was an interesting choice.
It is weird though because whether it's Sam Harris or Richard Dawkins or Hitchens, there's a whole bunch of like famous atheists.
Yeah.
And clearly, I get this from you guys once in a while. You get dubbed as an a-hole because you are willing to put up with zero bullshit.
Yeah, right.
So it's the whole like, well, what about the Noah's Ark story? You got to have an open mind. And people like that will go, no, you fucking don't.
Right.
You can just say that's bullshit.
Right.
And so it feels so much more blunt. I kind of had that moment this weekend with my wife. She clearly read a headline. Excuse me. Her mom clearly read a headline, told it to Angie, and I had read that whole story. So when Angie's like, well, I heard that so-and-so died, and I'm like, no, that didn't happen. And she made it sound like, well, there were two sides to the story. And I said, no, but there isn't.
Right.
It's what I'm telling you, what you're saying and what she read is wrong. And that's like the whole creation versus evolution, or like, is there a Bigfoot? Well, it's either yes or no. It's not 50-50, right? Some of this shit is not 50-50. It's 99-1 or 80-20 or
Right.
almost 0 versus almost 100. But when people treat the unknown as a 50-50, it just drives me nuts, right? Did Noah's Ark happen? I don't know. It's like 50-50. No, it's not. Right? And people like those guys will just say, no. And they just slam their fist down like, no, we shouldn't like give that much credence to just crazy bullshit. So I haven't heard Sam talk in a while, but it doesn't shock me that you said he was super blunt because
And it was
they
very
just don't
well
have
done.
time for it. Especially, by the way, like Dawkins is an evolutionary biologist, right?
Yeah.
He has spent his entire life
Yeah, right.
studying evolution. So when people from the religious groups fire info at him, he just says, that's fucking nonsense.
Right.
Like, because it's not just that he read a book, he has written the book
I've
for the
read
last
it.
50 years of his life.
I've heard a podcast with him as well.
Yeah.
I forget which one it was, but they were discussing consciousness
Yeah.
itself, which is the God particle, which is
Sure.
the unexplainable thing,
Right.
Which I always find the most fascinating.
Yeah.
Because even the most learned people can't explain that.
Right. And
You know?
I know we just keep circling back.
Yeah, yeah.
But Russell Brand and Ricky Gervais talked about that and
Yeah.
how like the smartest people in the world that have a grasp on science, once you get to quantum physics and almost anything seems possible, right? Like how can an atom be at the same place at two different places at the same time? And you can't wrap your head around it. And Ricky and Russell both made the great point, which is basically how I live my life, that like you have to be okay understanding that some things are maybe just beyond
Yeah.
human mental capability. Like in our lifetime, we're not going to master quantum physics. Could 5,000 years from now we truly have we don't understand consciousness, right?
Right.
And that is a huge problem.
Yeah.
But instead of going, well, if we can't explain it, we have to guess.
Right.
All Ricky or Richard Dawkins or Sam Harris, all they're saying is it's okay to say you don't know, and it's okay to say science is going to keep trying their best to figure it out. They don't know quantum physics, right? Like Stephen Hawking had a shot at it. Like there's a lot of guys that have a grasp on it that the five of us in this room have no chance at. Give humans 1,000 years and we might blow our minds. But just because we don't know in 2021 does not mean we can't figure it out.
You know what pisses me off about that?
What?
If you're right and I'm wrong, I'm never going to know. Man, that pisses me off.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Good point.
And that's why, the
Yeah.
God particle, the consciousness thing, I'm no religion
Right.
at all. I believe because I want to.
Sure.
I believe in the God particle, in the consciousness, in
Mm-hmm.
in the unexplainable idea that I'm standing here talking to you guys.
Right.
Doesn't make any sense. They
Right.
can't explain how you slap the baby's butt and he opens his eyes and he's a human being.
Right.
Nobody can understand that, and that's the one thing that keeps me going.
And if God makes you feel better while you're on earth once, then 100% go for it. Just don't blow up a building because of your God.
Amen.
Don't tell me who I can and cannot marry because of your God. All that kind of stuff. That's otherwise. I think I think that was the thing that they truly connected on the whole time is personal beliefs, personal thoughts.
Right.
A+. Think whatever you want, whatever makes your life easier. 100%. That's the way you're supposed to live.
Yeah. No. Jason, Justine Bateman, you guys have any thoughts?
Yeah, they're kind of sitting out here.
Yeah, what's going on? Who was out in the hallway that you were waving
It was
at?
Abbott.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
No, other than just, I think I have
I'm just
tremendous.
kidding. You don't need to force it. If you want to say something, I was just kidding.
I just have tremendous respect for Sam Harris, so I'll have to check that out. Because
Well, and here's what I'll say too
Very
about
smart.
this group of people. Clearly, we've highlighted differing beliefs here. I've never felt secluded by this group. I've never felt ostracized because I believe differently than anybody in this room. That's special. It's unique, and I really think that the bigger portion of this group, when it comes to the politics and everything, the 50 people that are part of the show have so many vast and differing beliefs. But when something happens, we all will rally together.
Yeah.
We respect each other still, even if we think something that the other person says is stupid.
The only thing I won't tolerate is a lack of tolerance.
Right. Because what a way to live that is. I mean, that's, yeah.
And pictures of Zach's eyeball.
I wish you wouldn't tolerate that. Shit. This guy won't stop taking pictures of me. We're having a serious conversation.
Right.
Kevin
about
Fallness and Meat Sauce are both going to have
unity
to upgrade their phones to the bigger hard drives just to keep
Just
all
for
the
those
photos
pictures.
of Zach.
Jesus.
I still had the link that you sent me open in my my what is it? What is on your iPhone? Is it Safari? Which one is it?
Safari.
So you know how you can have like 50 Safari windows open?
Sure.
Yeah, most
I
of them
still
go
had from when I listened to the first 20 minutes 6 months ago. I still had it open.
Open, right.
So I just found it easily, but I don't remember where it was posted.
The app that I use is one you have to pay for, and there's
The
a bunch
podcast
of,
you're talking about?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. There's a bunch of different podcasts that are exclusive to Luminary Podcasts. It's a subscription
And that's one of
service.
them?
I don't even
Then
remember
how come I got to
paid.
listen to it for free? Because you sent me the link?
Because I sent you the link, yeah.
Okay, because otherwise I can send it to you, AJ. It's the first 20, 30 minutes are about Ricky's career, which is also
great too. Yeah.
very interesting because he worked in an office for a long time. So he said writing the office wasn't that hard because he just lived it. But so they kind of talked about the idea of normality and finding humor in normality and then now being super, super rich, but still connecting to normal people. So the first 20, 30 minutes are very Ricky Gervais career centric. Then after that, they dive into spirituality and religion and organized religion and atheism, and it's just super fascinating.
And we are, by the way, for those of you tuning in or watching, we're talking about the Russell Brand, the guy from Get Him to the Greek. That guy.
Can't believe how smart he is.
Like, for instance, last week's episode was with Dr. Edith Eger, who's a Holocaust survivor and a specialist in treatment of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Whoa.
The topics are fascinating every week. Sometimes he talks. Remember, I told you guys he had a guy who decided he wanted to become a monk, and then so he went and he went to the Himalayas or where the hell. That was dumb. I can't remember, but I think that's right. Something like that. And trained as a Buddhist monk for 7 years. Mm-hmm. And like almost that entire time he was silent. And I don't remember much about that, but the thing that I remember the most is Russell asked him, what did you love the most about being a monk? And he said, having nothing. And Russell's like, what do you mean? He said, literally, when you ain't got nothing, you ain't got nothing to lose. I mean, that's the truth of it, man, right? They aren't even allowed to work out. Did you know that? They're not even allowed to exercise.
That sounds incredible.
Right, so you're real close, Corey.
Zach and I are half monks.
Yeah, right, that's right. The topics are various. He listens, as you pointed out, and now that you said that, I've noticed it more, Corey. He doesn't interrupt anybody ever. He lets them to the point where there's dead air sometimes because he's not sure they're done talking.
Exactly. It's super strange. But the way I described it to Chris when I was responding to that, I watched it or listened to it, I should say, is about every sentence, Russell will use a word that you either have never heard or that 90% of the general public would use incorrectly, right?
Yeah, right.
His vocabulary is insane. So if you've seen Forgetting Sarah Marshall or Get Him to the Greek, and you're like, that guy's a jackass, right? I remember like the tabloid shit with Katy Perry back in the day. If you just think Russell Brand's just this dumb, goofy British idiot, his vocabulary is unbelievable. Yeah. And you will be blown away by how smart he is and how great of an interviewer he is and how good of questions he asks. Again, we're just talking about super like high brow topics like spirituality and religion. And he has a Wikipedia kind of dictionary thesaurus, whatever other book you want to throw. He's got it all. I definitely should probably dive into that because I was more almost, since I've heard almost everything Ricky said, I've heard Ricky say in the past, I was more just captivated by Russell's interviewing skills than the actual debate itself, because I've heard those arguments so many times because I've watched so many Richard Dawkins YouTube videos over the last 20 years of my life or whatever. Anyway, super good. Highly recommended.
And he's a troll.
True. He is.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
An actual troll.
You mentioned Holocaust real quickly, and I brought up.
Where is this going?
Tweeted out. And normally I wouldn't do this, but like it was. I've never watched a video and gone like, "Holy shit!" so many times.
Oh, the one you put up this morning.
There was a video a report that 60 Minutes did on this archive of Nazi documents that they took during the Holocaust and how just diligent they were paperwork wise, and they finally released this archive. And again, this story is from like 15 years ago, but they just put it up on the 60 Minutes YouTube page. 13 minutes. I know it'll probably take you like 6 months to finally, take my recommendation.
I just got to drive somewhere.
I cannot recommend it. It is unbelievable what they did, and then how well they kept track of the horror.
Yeah. I got about halfway through the Tattooist of Auschwitz. I had to take a break.
Ugh.
It's so sad. I can't take it. But if we don't remember, we'll forget.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's get back to penis talk next week, shall we? And by the way, I have two really good interviews on tap for next week.
Is that right?
I think both of them are going to happen. I don't know if you guys ever do this, but I encourage you to go to your followers on Twitter and click on the thing that tells you who's verified that follows you.
Sure.
You'll shit your pants. I had no idea. Some of the people that followed me.
Like who?
Jim Gaffigan.
Jim Gaffigan follows you?
Yeah. Hold on, because I text every person who was famous that I wanted on the show. I texted them to see if they would come on. Direct message. Jim O'Hara, Boyd Tinsley.
Yeah.
The fiddle player for Dave Matthews Band. Used to be, right. Brian Burkheiser, who's the lead singer of.
Wait, how do you do that?
Get on your knees and.
Yeah.
How do you do this?
So what you do is you go into your profile. So
You know
the 3
what?
bars up at the top.
Yeah.
And then however many followers, click on followers.
You might only have this, Chris, because you're the only one who's verified here.
Oh.
You guys aren't verified?
No.
Are you shitting
No,
me?
they shut that down, too. Didn't they shut that down? They permanently shut it down or
not
temporarily
Are you
shut
kidding me?
it
You
down?
guys aren't verified?
No.
Finally I won something. Anyway, if I can click on verify.
I've always wondered why,
Bam. There
why
you go. Yeah.
nobody is here, but other than Chris, because.
You have to apply for it, though, and I just never cared to group
No,
apply.
I did that myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm saying,
Even when they did, though, because there was somebody here who tried real hard to get verified.
I remember that.
There are a lot
I
of
remember that.
people that you're like, you have 600
Yeah,
followers.
it's weird how some
Why
people
the
are.
fuck are you No one gives a
I just
fuck
took for
about
granted
you.
that at least you were. You got more followers than I do.
No, you have more. I lost a bunch.
Oh, did you really?
A
How many
lot.
do you have?
Talk about politics?
No, but I'm stupid.
Well, the Power Trip
87,000.
account lost a lot.
Yeah, there was a purge
Because
recently.
we're back
no
down
doubt.
to
the bot.
Oh,
we're
they
down
got
to
rid of bots and
69.3 again?
Nice.
We are.
Yeah, 69.4 now. So we're back up.
Oh my God, we're 23 away from another 69,420. I cannot wait.
Man,
Christmas came twice this year.
Jesus.
87.7 thousand.
Good for you.
Yeah, that's what
You're
I
a
got.
big deal. You're a
verified.
celebrity.
Look at you.
I'm verified.
You're verified.
Mama says he's bona fide.
He's a suitor.
He's
Sex
a
freak.
suitor.
All right, so next week I will do not 1 but 2 if they both come through big time interviews. So
Is
excited.
that right?
So
Share?
I can't share right now, but I'll tell you as soon as I can.
Russell Brand and Sam Harris on this podcast next week.
Oh, God.
That'd be sick.
Have a good weekend, you beautiful.
Introducing Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, the only national USDA certified organic hard seltzer. We're not playing around. New Michelob Ultra Organic Seltzer, as real as it tastes.